Alright, guys. Hey, guys! Hey, it's that guy that you love, but you hate, but you love, but you love him. Okay, so first things first. So I had kind of tried to figure out like who hasn't voted on the league name and who hasn't, and all this good stuff. So we've got everyone that has voted, and it is tied, guys, which means that both names are great names for the league name. We've got the sequel, and then we've got Wasting Time Fantasy League. So what's going to happen at the very end of this video is I'm just going to do a coin flip. That's just what's going to happen. And if your favorite name doesn't win, I mean, then I'm sorry, like you didn't submit a name. So there's that. Because honestly, the sequel was actually brought up at the draft. It was just this random thing that just got shot out there. So no one even came up with a better name. So Darren came up with a great name. So props to him for that. But the sequel was nobody's idea. It was almost just like a collection. I feel like somebody had said something about the sequel or something, and then Cody was sitting there and he was like, "Oh, that should be my team name." And then we were like, "That's a great league name." I think Todd had said something about that. So, anyways, I don't remember. I don't. The draft, such a blur. All right. So I just want to recap last week. This could be a decently long video. I hope it's not. Last week, so just so y'all know, my score for last week was 4-2. I called 4 of the 6 games. My total record right now is 12-6. So last week, the game of the week, the Gotham Knights scored 94.3 versus Einhorn is Finkel, or is it Finkel is Einhorn? 92.5. 92.5. I did not call this game, but boy, was it flipping close, man. It was a flipping close game. Came down to Monday night. There was some reverse voodoo going on. Todd was just reversing that voodoo, just sending some voodoo all over the place on Fro. And in the end, Roethlisberger did his best he could to try to help Fro. Pulled that one off, but fell short. Of course, you know, Fro had Isaiah Crowell on the bench with 17 points, which would have made anybody just kick themselves, just straight kick themselves. I can't say I blame him. You know, that's a hard call, but you know, dang, that freaking hurts. R.I.P. to Garoppolo for the Gotham Knights. It's possible he will be looking for a trade for a quarterback. I don't know if he's going to stick with what's his name? Phillip Rivers. Phillip freaking Rivers. He's kind of unreliable. He's up and down. Nobody really knows if he's going to be good or bad. Sometimes he's good, sometimes he's bad. Most of the times he's like kind of average, and then every once in a while he's good. So just something to watch out for. Then you had Voldemort, 83.6 versus the explosive diarrhea 72.5. I did call this game because it's fucking Yuri, and Yuri's team sucks because it always sucks. So Kevin was really, really pissed about leaving Jordy Nelson on the bench. But in the end, it didn't really matter. Jordy Nelson had 23.3 points on the bench, but he still managed to get a W there. You know, Yuri's bench really wouldn't have helped him. He would have basically a worse score if he would have played anybody on his bench. So he had 4 players with 6 points or less on his bench. Voldemort, you gotta give Voldemort a shout out, man, because that Fitzpatrick pickup was very smart. You know, Yuri was trying to talk crap the entire night about, oh, love those interceptions. Oh, yeah, that sounds good, whatever. And then Yuri decided to shut up all of a sudden and didn't say anything and probably went to bed with his 80,000 cats and his 100,000 dogs that he has. So anyways, it's just interesting. Fitzpatrick netted some good points there. Then you had oh my God, this freaking game. You had the Phalanx 50.2 versus the United States of Tom Brady 44.2. I did call this game, but Lord, I was getting worried about not being able to call it because the score was so freaking low. I mean, this was a sloppy game. This is two of the lowest scoring scores I've ever witnessed. And Austin is really thanking his lucky stars that he was matched up against Jennings this week. United States of Tom Brady and the Phalanx had 8 players with under 10 points, while Austin's bench would have actually helped him would have actually helped him. Jennings was just stuck on only one player on his bench that was able to get over 10 points. The rest were 3 and under. So Jennings couldn't really do anything. I'm just kind of surprised that Will Fuller was sitting on the bench. I'm not sure I understand that decision, but in the end, I guess it doesn't matter because he still got the win. You know what? This is what happens when you have every single freaking player on one freaking team. Sorry, guys. Been kind of sick the last week and a half, so excuse me. Then you had meat and cheese only. Oh my gosh, 132.1 versus the Anus Ticklers, 111.5. I did not call this one. By the way, I did call Voldemort and explosive diarrhea errors, and then I did call the Phalanx and United States Tom Brady. I don't know if I mentioned that, but this is the highest, I think it's the highest scoring game of the year so far, next to the duel between myself and Fro. Meat and Cheese he just went on just to pile that shit on Monday night. Both teams, they did everything that they could. Both their benches would not have helped them. When you score over 100 points, you did something right. And if you lose, it's because it's just a really tough matchup. So nothing gets Darren there. I mean, he did everything he could. Neither one of them could have done anything to help them or hurt them or anything like that. So Darren actually had 7 players in double-digit points. Matt actually had 6, but 2 of those players were over 20, and another 2 were at 19 points. So he basically had 4 people in 20-point range. Then you got the Regulators, 103.5 versus No Courtesy, 99.7. I did call this game. Apparently, Kurt forgot to check his lineup. He was traveling all week. So he forgot the Browns were playing. He had Duke Johnson. I don't know why you'd even have. I don't know why you'd even have Duke Johnson as an RB2. I get it as a flex, but as an RB2, man, that hurts, man. I texted him and I was like, dude, why did you put Duke Johnson in instead of Clement or something? He was like, oh shit, well I forgot that they were playing tonight. Well, you're a freaking idiot, Kurt. And that's why you're an Eagles fan. I mean, because they're all fucking idiots. And they all suck at fantasy football because they don't understand football. Guys, I figured it out. Guys, Kurt sucks at fantasy football because he's an Eagles fan. And Eagles fans don't get it. They just don't. Eagles fans do not get fantasy football because they don't understand football. Oh my God, oh my gosh. Guys, I wish that you could see my face right now after I just realized why he is sucking so bad. Holy shit, it all makes sense now. Duke Johnson, that hurt him. Plus that defense, oh my gosh, -1 points. So his defense for the year is at -3 points. They are at an average of -1 point per game. Just so y'all know, why do you keep starting a freaking defense when they keep getting you negative points? That's insane. You know what the definition of insanity is? Doing the same thing over and over and over again, expecting different results, you freaking insane motherfucker. Sorry for my language. He is an Eagles fan. My bad. I keep forgetting they're just freaking stupid. Their fans are stupid, and they don't get it, and they're insane. They're insane. They keep doing the same fucking thing, except expecting different results. So had Kurt have started any other running back, he would have won this week. Matt Ryan stepped up in a huge way for Lance, 39.2 points. Everyone else in his entire team was just kind of typical Lance team kind of thing, like average or below average. So he's really lucky about the Matt Ryan thing. So I'm going to chalk that up as a lucky win for Lance. Congratulations, Lance. I hope you're happy with your win. Then, of course, you had the Rowdies, 127.8 versus the Experience, 64. I did call this game because obviously I don't pick against the Rowdies. I just don't do it. This was a rough game for Cody. He had Calvin Ridley on the bench with 33.5 points. I don't blame him for sitting him. I mean, the dude really hasn't done anything until now. So, it really wouldn't have mattered because the Rowdies basically doubled the Experience's points. The Rowdies, they had 7 players in double digits with 2 over 20 points. Cody had 2 players with over 20, he had 2 players in double digit points. I was like, he did not have 2 players with 20 points. Tyrod Taylor getting injured just did not help Cody at all, along with 5 players getting 3.1 points or less. Randall Cobb had 0.3. Adrian Peterson, the free agent pickup, so far is looking, I mean, some of y'all were laughing. Y'all were like, guys, Zane, Rowdy, whatever, dude, he's old. He's old. Why would you drop some dumbass that you got in the 14th round for a guy that's old? Well, because the dumbass that I picked up is proven to be really good, and the people that I dropped are proven not to be. So anyways, the current standings, we have two teams that remain at 0-3. Sorry, guys, it's going to be a long video. We're already at 12 minutes. All right. We have 2 teams that remain at 0-3 and 2 teams that remain at 3-0. So the top 4 teams right now, you've got the Gotham Knights at 3-0 at 325.2 points for. By the way, for the newer people, points for is your tiebreaker. So then you got the Phalanx at 3-0 as well, and they are at 262.4 points for, which is kind of low considering you're in first place. It kind of reminds me a little bit of Fro. Fro from last year barely was winning like 65 to 60 every freaking week. Like, that's just what he did, and he had the lowest points for. It was just the most stupid, aggravating thing. So anyway, but the Phalanx have had some good weeks, so we'll just wait on doing that. Speaking of Fro, then you have Einhorn is Finkel at 2-1 at 336.9 points for, and then you have the Rowdies at 2-1 at 332.3 points for. So actually, the last 2 teams in that top 4 actually have more points for than the top 2, but whatever. So then the rest you've got, so going down, you've got Anus Tickler's 2-1, 317.9 points for. Meat and Cheese Only, 2-1 at 303.9 points for. Excuse me. And I'll get to my flag of the week here in a second. The Regulators, 1-2, 272.3 points for. The Experience, 1-2, 252.3 points for. Chattanooga Cox, a.k.a. Baltimore, 1-2, 233.3 points for. United States Tom Brady, a.k.a. Legos and Popsicles, 1-2, 206.5 points for. That is the lowest points for right there. United States Tom Brady at 206.5. Then you've got No Courtesy, 0-3 at 276.4 points for. And then you've got the Explosive Diarrhea-ers, 0-3, 218.9 points for. Yuri, did you name yourself the Explosive Diarrhea-ers? So I had to say Explosive Diarrhea-ers like 8 times in a freaking video because you know you suck and you know I'm going to fucking tell you about it? I mean, that's ridiculous. All right, my Flaggit of the week goes to Legos and Popsicles, a.k.a. United States Tom Brady. Flaggit, because you suck. And that's what happens when you have your whole team is, All right, guys, sorry, it's getting super long. Game of the week this week, the Phalanx versus No Courtesy. Can Kurt finally make a freaking comeback and get a win? Or will the Phalanx squeeze out yet another win? Aaron Jones is back for Austin. and I hate to pick against him here, but Kurt's going to win a game eventually. I mean, he's like the Browns right now. But then again, oh, man, now I'm having second thoughts. And he's got great matchups this week. I'm going against what I should, and I'm going to pick Kurt. Oh, man. But if he loses, I'm never picking Kurt ever again. Einhorn is Finkel versus the Experience. You know, Fro has really been on a tear. It's not like last year when he was barely winning games and then, you know, ended up making the playoffs or whatever. You know, he's been putting up some serious points. I don't see Ezekiel Elliott tearing off some major points versus the Lions. Evan Ingram is out, and there's just way too many question marks for me. I think Cody puts it together in an upset this week, and if everything goes his way, especially if Calvin Ridley, if he plays him and he has another big game, I'm going to go with Cody this week in my upset. It would be an upset. Gotham Knights versus Voldemort. This is like the battle of the voodoo. These two are voodoo freaking champions over here. Fitzpatrick could have a tough game against the Chicago defense this week, and then you got Rivers and Melvin Gordon. They're playing a very beat up San Francisco team that could be netting lots of turnovers, which in turn means more time for those two to go to work. I'm going to take Gotham Knights to go 4-0 here. Then you've got Meat and Cheese Only versus Tom Brady. I think the Patriots rebound here, so I'm going to go with Jennings on this one. In fact, I think he could get close to or over 100 points on this game. Then you've got the Anus Ticklers versus Regulators. You know, Darren's been putting up a lot of points. I'm not going to go against Darren this week. I'm going to take Darren again. And then you've got the Rowdies versus the Explosive Diarrhea-ers. God, Yuri, that freaking name, man. Like, I'm not putting Explosive Diarrhea-ers on a freaking trophy, man. Like, figure it out. All right. So, by the way, I'm going with the Rowdies. All right. So, we are so way past time. All right, guys. I'm doing the coin flip. There's heads right there. There is tails. So, we are going to do WTF on heads. And then we are going to do the sequel on tails. All right. So I'm going to flip it right now, and we are about to have our decision. Here we go. I'm nervous, guys. All right. I caught it in my hand. It is heads. So we will be WTF League moving forward. If you got a problem with it, boom, you should have come up with something different, bitch. All right, guys. Have a good night.